Welcome to T Boys TV. We are back again with another Hat Show, episode 269. And in this one, we will obviously be talking about the Doncaster win, and then we'll be getting into tomorrow's game against Blackpool, who are struggling. You know, they're right down there, which a lot of people didn't really expect. You know, a lot of people had them as dark horses, in terms of playoffs. But they do have a lot of key injuries as well. Um, which obviously we did get into yesterday. Me and Lee, obviously the Blackpool fans, shout out to him, did get into it and things like that. So do check that out after this if you haven't already. But how have you been the last few days, Dad? We've got a win again. Feels good.
Yeah, all good. Needed to happen and it did. So yeah, please.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Massive pressure on Matt Bloomfield going into the Doncaster game there was. And like we said in the preview to that game, we, had that expectation that there would be a back four, and there was. So the lineup for this game was obviously Keeley in goal, who did win the award that Luton do every month, this month as well. So that was interesting. But yeah, obviously Makoto was that right back for this game. I know you've said about that a few times, Dad, putting him there. It was Anderson and Mengi. Mengi was obviously an interesting shout going into it based on his last performance. And then Naismith was left back. The midfield was, to me, it looked like a 4-4-2, like I said. So it looked like, obviously, Morris on the right side of that. Obviously, to me, it looked like Nelson was on the left, and then Lamine and Saville in the middle of that. And then it looked like it was Ali and Wells up front. But Ali sort of drifting out wide a bit more during the game. And then obviously the bench for this game was quite interesting as well, especially one player in particular. So obviously Bramall was on the bench, Bode, Kadoa, Nakamba was actually on the bench, Nordos, Richards, and Shea. So interesting to see also Nakamba on the bench for this game. But like I said in the press conference where Bloomfield was talking about him a lot, I'd rather he be in the squad than just be stealing a wage essentially. Whether that's he's coming on in games, contributing towards the end. I don't mind. Because as much as his injuries had let his time down at Luton, I guess you could say, especially since we got him permanently, he can be a good player for this level to bring on at least in games, I feel. But yeah, that lineup, I mean, seeing the back four, Dad, it was delightful, wasn't it?
We knew it was going to happen. At least saw that time around the lights one. It's always
it always does it during the shows, doesn't it?
But yeah, thought about it. We called it. I'd say it's between a 4-4-2 and a 4-2-3-1 times. You know what I mean? That's why I'm feeling it. But we were a lot more compact, and it wasn't just about that either. I think that we look more of a team than we pretty much have done this season because Doncaster ain't no mugs, and we kept them quiet. They did have a couple of chances. We were a little bit lucky, but we ground it out, and that's what you want to see. We could have had more as well. Could have been a different story if we'd scored the penalty before half time, but the management of the game for me was key. But yeah, the lineup we wanted to see them players in. Lamine, obviously they're going to come in anyway because of injuries and so forth. But yeah, it was good to see. Yeah, I don't know. Like, was it forced? This is the thing. Do you know what I mean? Because we've been calling for it, and it just hadn't happened. But Mengi wasn't available then, and he is now. Do you know what I'm saying? But we also lost Longvic in the previous game. So yeah, we can play a back four, but it's tight. If we get injuries, then we could be forced to go to back three again. But listen, it worked. I think Lamine was really good, and yeah, it just worked. And Morris starting, he's looking like a bit of a steal at the moment. He's dangerous. He's active. Reminds me a little bit of Izzy Jones when he first come to Luton as well. But yeah, good lineup. Good to see the back four, and we felt more confident, and everyone felt more confident from just seeing that as well. To be fair, and then
Yeah, as much we obviously anticipated it, it still was a bit of a shock actually seeing it because obviously it's been so long. It's really since last season when Bloomfield first came in, he tried to implement it, but like we said, we didn't. It weren't really a defence back then that weren't working with that. It was more the striker, which was Morris. One up front. He just the type of player he is just didn't work for us, so we had to go back to the three back then. But yeah, I mean the game itself, the first half. Obviously, the first talking point was obviously their player coming off. Obviously, that took a bit of a while in terms of that, but we had a few chances. Lamine had a chance. It was a decent save. And then obviously the main talking point is obviously the goal. Saville with a good delivery into the box. We see it from pre-season that he's good at deliveries. Crossed it into Naismith. Naismith done really well to notice it, get into the space, head it in, and by the time it's got to the goalkeeper, he's had no chance of saving it. Like I said in the reaction, if you are Doncaster, you will be a bit fuming with that because the way he's managed to get our would be if that was us. The way he's got in front, sorry, with them not even, marking him, essentially, keeping an eye on him was poor. But Naismith, I mean, I believe, like I said in the reaction, I think that's his first goal since that Bournemouth game, if I'm correct. I might be wrong. Do let me know in the chat. But either way, really good performance from him, like I said. There's a few good tackles as well. And there's been certain games under Bloomfield where he's not played him or he's brung him on in games, and you're thinking, well, why is he not starting? Obviously, the standout one being the final game of last season. And there was a time this year, I can't remember who it was exactly, but he didn't start, and we were like, well, why is he not starting the game? Because he brings that leadership at the end of the day. And, when in terms of our actual defenders, he's probably not our best defender, but when it comes to, the leadership, getting the team up for it, shouting to the players during the game. That is why he's the captain. It's as simple as that. And, I thought at left back, he was good. Obviously, we know he can play there anyway, but I thought we'd more see him sort of in the centre back with, like Anderson, and then the left back would be like Bramall for this game or something like that. But yeah, really, really good goal from Naismith and a good performance once again from Naismith, Dad.
Yeah, well, like I say, you say he can play there. It's not necessarily like leadership. I get that, but it's the calmness on the ball. That kind of thing that people look up to and say, what's he doing? Short passes and that. He was excellent with them in this game, and did defend well at times as well. Not that we were on the back foot, but when we had to win the ball and things like that, a couple of times, there was one where he just stopped the ball dead. Brilliant. And little bits like that, which you expect from Naismith. I think when we played Blackpool previously, not the 1-0 win, but maybe a game before that, I'm sure he scored in that game as well. But he's he was captain. Brilliant header. I know what you're saying, but you run into the space. You couldn't save that header either. But before that, brilliant play from Morris to win the free kick, and we touched on, and then obviously a great delivery from Saville. He put a few nice deliveries into the box. Definitely, he was good as well. But yeah, great goal. Before that, obviously we had a couple of chances. Then the Pearson situation, for me, I'd say that was handball. VAR I reckon we would have got a penalty for that. But Bloomfield was fuming. To me, it looked like he was just he come in and he threw his body towards it, but like with his arm out. Do you know what I mean? Is what it is. We forgot even played for Doncaster. He was decent for us, but not as good as like say Bradley. You know what I mean? Collins and certain other players. So yeah, good goal, and we deserved it as well.
Yeah, and the thing is, obviously, we got a penalty after that, and it was definitely a penalty. And if we scored that, like I said in the reaction, I think we would have won that game 3 or 4-0. I'm going to be totally honest, because obviously they've conceded a goal before that. Then they would have given away, a stupid penalty, and then obviously if we scored that, they've just lost their heads essentially. So yeah, a bit of a shame we didn't score that. There was obviously large parts where we thought Lamine was going to maybe take it, but in the end it was Wells. And I'll be honest, when Wells, took it, like leading up to it, I didn't mind, because obviously he did score 2 weeks before that against Plymouth, so he can score a penalty. And I know he did take a few last year for Bristol City as well. But it weren't a bad penalty. Like I said in the reaction, it was not a bad penalty at all. I've seen worse penalties, P rollers and barely come off the ground. Whereas it was a good save, to be fair to their goalkeeper. Um, you know, and yeah, it was a little bit frustrating, but we still had the lead. And, I would say majority of the game, we were in control of this game. They did have a few moments. Obviously, the big moment, I would say, was the Molyneux chance in the second half, where maybe Makoto's vulnerability in the sense of marking, maybe as a right back, could have maybe cost us there. But, slide tackles in the game were good. But yeah, other than that, they didn't really. I expected them to be a bit better, I'll be honest. But credit to us, like I said in the reaction, in terms of the performance this year in the league, obviously Burton's still the best one. But I would put that second. Especially ahead of all the other 1-0 wins. I do think that was better because, it's much more commanding at the back. It's just attacking wise, we need to be a little bit better for me. And that's why I'm a little bit surprised Nordos isn't coming in at the moment, because the thing with him, he's not going to get loads of goals, but his link up play is what could be really effective and helping players like Wells and things like that. So, yeah, little bit surprised he didn't at least come on in the game, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, I mean, we got it done in the end, didn't we, Dad?
Well, the penalty, on the penalty, the build-up play between
really
Nelson, Saville, Wells was brilliant, real quality. You see that in the Championship. Definitely a penalty. All I would say about the penalties is when you're successful at penalties, or we have been recently with Morris and things like that, he hits them low. Do you know what I mean? That's the ideal thing, but it's hard to do that sometimes. But it wasn't a, it was a decent enough penalty. But the key thing is, on that miss, we didn't cave in. We didn't think, do you know what I mean? We stepped up to the plate, and then they had another chance where Saville tried to play it in, come back off their play, and then run. They had that 2-on-2, and we were quite lucky there. Keeley come running out. That's good play by him, because I'm not sure about if Kaminski would have come out, maybe, but would he have flat? Do you know what I mean? And then the chance, obviously, at the end. Mignolet is a really good player. Like, we've done really well to keep him quiet, because the touches he did have, crosses that he did have, were dangerous. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how anyone hasn't signed him. He's got real good quality. He could definitely play in a Championship for me. So yeah, we kept him quiet. That shot right at the end, that would have been a banging goal if we'd have scored that. And then we managed the game. It's the first time this season. Burton, we didn't need to manage the game. We managed the game by just
scoring 3 goals.
Yeah. And the other ones we've been a bit lucky in, where we've come away like near the end and stuff like that. or the other team's been really, really poor. I don't think Doncaster were necessarily that poor. I think, do you know what I mean? They should have been a bit. They lost a couple, but it was a bit scrappy, like I said. But I don't mind that, I don't mind that at times. I don't want to see perfect football on the floor all the time that leads to fuck all. Try the long ball. Try switching it over there. Do you know what I mean? Play it to your strengths. That's what we talked about before. And Morris, and Ali, definitely strengths on their wings. And then, the interplay, the triangles and stuff like that, which we technically able to do. We can do that as well. We can mix and match. That's where the best Luton teams have come from, where they've mixed and matched it. When we was called that, they're just going to lump it. They're going to lump it in the Premier League and that. But at times we played some decent football even before that. What was it? Who did we beat at home? We was not Brighton, but in the Championship, we absolutely annihilated someone. Was it Coventry or someone like that?
And that was a few seasons before. I'll tell you what that was. That was the year we got in the playoffs, but we didn't win. So I was at that game. It was a midweek game, 5-0. Elijah scored a penalty, and he was on smoke.
Yeah, so I'd rather see little. There was good patterns of play in there, very good individual performances, but they were backing each other as a team. They were confident that each person was doing their role as well as they can, and that's all. That's vital. We deserve to win it, and clean sheet. I'll be happy with 10 1-0 wins as long as we get where we need to be. So yeah,
I'll totally agree. I mean, look at I know obviously we keep going back to it, but it was successful. I mean, look at the year we went up. We got a lot of 1-0 wins, especially away. And that's what we want to see. We want to see that sort of fight and that grit. And there was a little bit of that, especially defensively, I felt on Saturday. And that's why, for me, that was our second best performance of the season. There's still improvements, of course there is. But, it's like, think as well, right? We didn't have a natural right back in that game. And Makoso was decent, his slide tackles were good and things like that. Obviously, there was, that moment, like I say, when Molyneux had that shot. But overall, really good performance from him at right back. And you've got to think as well, and it's like I've said, and I said it in the reaction, look at the players you've got out wide. You've got so many options, and we've got to utilise our attack, because I would say, overall, when you look at our squad, we've got much better, higher up players, attackers than defenders. Obviously, we've got good defenders, but when you look at the overall squad and you look at the options you've got, obviously out wide, or the players that more obviously will be out wide. You've got Ali, Gabode, you've got Morris, you've got Kadoa. Do you know what I mean? There's so many, Jones when he's back. Do you know what I mean? There's so many options, and there's probably a few other. I'd say Nelson's actually quite good out wide. I remember when we went to Sheffield Wednesday, Dad, at home, and he was sort of drifting out a little bit more wide, and he was all right. So he can play there as well. So you've got them options, and for me, as much we don't have a proper right back right now, if you've got attacking players higher that are able to do that job instead of having like 3 at the back and then the wing backs have got to do both, it's much more beneficial. Like, let's be honest, Naismith at left back, you're not going to see the guy bombing up and down the wing, are you? So if you've got someone ahead, with the likes of whoever it is on that left, I mean, Ali, Gabode, whoever, they'll do their job there. So yeah, that's much more beneficial, I feel, for that. But we'll go through some comments, and then we'll get into the player ratings. Evening, lads. Big up to Paul. Hope you're well. Phil says good evening as well. He says it was a 4-2. Yeah, it was that or a 4-4-2, like I say. It did look more like that because Ali was drifting out wide. But yeah, maybe as we go on with games, just due to how many strikers we got, I think we have got to play 2 up front going forward. Especially when El Hamadi's in. You got to have 2 for me. So yeah. Bramwell's ill leading up to it. I think that's why Naismith. Yeah. He was 50-50 on it. We obviously predicted he'd be at least in the squad, and he obviously was. Hi, Ty Daz. First half I thought was really good. Yep. Yep. I thought it was decent, especially like say Dad, the lead up to the penalty. That was good play, and we haven't really seen that, let's be honest. In the last 2 years, really. So yeah, I'd have to agree. Moving on to obviously the player ratings. So we'll start off with Keeley. I thought, compared to the last two games, it was a much better performance. When he come out, it was a bit more, weren't as nervous. There was a moment where they did get in. They took a bit of a heavy touch. They played the ball across, and Keeley done well to get to that. So yeah, it was a much, better performance for me compared to the last two. So for me, with him, I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, 7. Good performance. Didn't have a hell of a lot to do. Come out when he needed to, and we basically looked after him with the defence. So yeah, I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Do get involved in the chat as well, guys, with your ratings. Moving on to the right back. It feels weird saying that. Makoso, thought he was good. Like I say, there was a few moments he got, I'd say, caught out in terms of position. Sorry. But in terms of tackling, sly tackles, I thought were immense from him in this game. And yeah, like I say, you've obviously been banging the drum, Dad, to play him at right back, and I think it could work. It could work in games. And I'll be honest, I would stick with it tomorrow, to be quite honest with you. So yeah, I'll give him a 7.5.
Yeah, agree. 7.5. I think he could just play there. He can get forward. He takes all the throw-ins from that side as well. I think it kind of suits him. You know what I mean? And I think he's right-footed as well. Could be wrong, but I think he is. So yeah, I think he's made for that position if he needs to. You know what I mean? And it happens. You can mould players into positions during their careers. Do you know what I mean? Unless they're veterans and they're do you know what I mean, straight up certain positions. But he's still young, and I think and the more adaptable you are, the more assets you got for other clubs and the club you're playing with. So yeah, 7.5.
Yeah, I've just remembered. Obviously, he's there on the poster. That's the poster from the Barnet game. There was McGuinness on it. Obviously, he left. Obviously, his day before, wasn't it? So yeah, I've obviously covered him with me in Bloomfield, as you can see briefly there. But yeah, Makoso is there. And yeah, we obviously wearing the green kit again tomorrow. So yeah, obviously he's there in the green kit and wearing it again. So hopefully we plant some more trees, mate. Yeah, need to be doing that. Big up to Paul. He says Keeley's 7, 7 as well from Jackie. Makoso 8. Jackie says he was good, 7.5. Agrees with me with the rating. Moving on we'll go over to Anderson. I thought he had a decent game again. Not quite the levels of obviously the opening couple of games from him, but still, decent for me. So again, I think I'll go with I'll go 7 for him. I'll go slightly lower.
Yeah, I'll give him 7. I thought he just done what he needed to do, get the basics simple, headering it away. With Anderson, his better games normally, lately anyway, is when he's attacking and stuff like that, and do you know what I mean? He's getting headers on target and things like that. But yeah, just kept the basics. And I think he's probably used to playing in the back four previously in the League One as well, and I think that would really benefit him. So yeah, I'll give him a 7.
Yeah. And again, I always go back to it, but obviously when he was in League One last time, captain for Barnsley, wasn't in the playoff final, and they were absolutely gutted. So we know there's definitely a player there for sure. And like you say, he brings that element of scoring, obviously did against Peterborough. So yeah, hopefully he gets a few more goals from corners. That'd be nice throughout the season. Other ratings, Paul's gone 7.5. Jackie's gone with 7. Paul would jumped ahead to Mengi, who we'll go to now, 7.5. Yeah, I'd agree, 7.5. I thought he was actually really good, especially compared to last week. The only one little thing was that pass he did, and the fans did get a bit frustrated. But other than that, defending, I mean, we've said it. If he can get his attitude right, I'll say it now, he could be one of the best defenders in the league. We highly rated him in the Premier League when he was up against, much better attackers. So yeah, if he can get that attitude right, and even if it, like I say, if he plays well and he goes in January, for example, I've got no problem with that. Because at least he, fought until the end essentially. Obviously more now compared to obviously the last year. But yeah, like I say, 7.5, really good performance from him.
Yeah, 7.5. Like, listen, he is a quality player. He probably is too good for this level. He's been unlucky with injuries. He's had a couple of standout poor performances for us, particularly the last game of the season. Fans remember things this, that, and the other. But whether if we go up, we'll probably hopefully keep him. But he is destined for bigger things. I don't care what anyone says. He's a good player. And if he's in the team, it's only his second game. It's awkward whether he's going to start again tomorrow. I probably would start him, but because but yeah, good performance. One pass, but that's not what he's potentially known for. I think he had a good run as well, but defensively as well, he was decent. Very good. 7.5.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was going to say something else about him, but I can't actually remember what it was. But if I remember, I'll mention it. 7.3, Jackie says, and then moving on to Naismith, you guys, which I'll get into now. Man of the match for me, like I said in my reaction, I thought defensively he was good. He obviously got the goal as well. And yeah, just that leadership. And obviously, like I say, I know he can do a job at left back, but I thought he'd more so play centre back for us with a back four. Maybe in Bramall's like fully available and obviously recovered better and stuff. Obviously, I expect him to probably start at left back, but for now, Naismith has to be in the team, whether he's left back or centre back. So yeah, good performance for me. Man of the match, I'll give him that 8.
Yeah, he's my man of the match. Obviously the goal, the hunger, the setup, involved in the penalty, just the play where he's just chilled, where he knows what he's doing, he knows when to play the correct pass, etc., etc. And he's a utility player. Like, let's be honest, he can play left back, centre back, CDM. Like, I think when he was at Portsmouth, he was like a winger or do you know what I mean? An attacker.
He played up front or something. Yeah.
Because he's technically very good. And if you play him in the right position, he's going to do the job for you. And maybe that'll happen this season. I don't really want to see him being dropped from the team at times, because him and Saville, particularly in this game, they showed their experience and quality and things like that. And we could have been probably a little bit better going forward. You know what I mean? But we controlled the game as we had to in the second half. But yeah, man of the match, 8.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah, he was good, really, really good. Again, and yeah, like I say, he has to start. He has to, because it's sometimes he might not have the best game, especially this year. There's been a few times, but he's the leader. He's the leader that is there. I mean, I referred to it quite a lot. Obviously, when we played in COVID, and obviously it's on LTFC Plus, and you could watch it through there. At times you could just hear him. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you got to play him for me. But other ratings, 7.5 says Paul. Jackie also over 7.5. And yeah, moving on, we'll go over to Lamine. Obviously, did get man of the match in the stadium. Yeah, I thought he was good. I've been calling for him to start since the Lincoln game anyway. A lot of that is down to what I know he's capable of. Saville obviously being more defensive minded. Lamine can do a bit of both, which is basically what he did. And yeah, I just felt this will work in these type of games, playing him. And obviously he got man of the match, good performance. There was a cheeky little nutmeg that he done. And yeah, he's looking good, and I'm glad that he's actually starting. And sometimes we have this at Luton, let's be honest, like someone gets injured or ill or whatever. Because let's be honest, if Clark was not ill, or I can't remember what he had actually, then maybe, Lamine wouldn't get a chance to start, anytime soon. And obviously Makoso last year, we had Naismith and McGuinness being out for the Watford game. He come in and done well. Like, the players had them chances, and this could be Lamin's chance to sort of pounce on a starting position for me. Going forward. So yeah, for me, he was good. Like I say, got man of the match in the stadium. But yeah, I'll give him a 7.5.
Yeah, 7.5. Um, just stand. He's got quality, but we haven't seen him in a consistent run of games really. But we have seen quality from him. I mean, in the pre-season, he scored a few goals in that as well, didn't he? Do you know what I mean? Um, and he's dying to get. I don't know. Is he actually scored for us? I don't think he has.
Not competitively, no.
No,
It's only
and
pre-season.
it's
So
only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time because he's box to box for me. He can play anywhere in the midfield. He could probably, do you know what I mean? Play cam as well. He's good defensively. He's strong. He's intelligent, and I'll be starting him again. But yeah, 7.5.
yeah, I mean, there was a few fans of obviously the team he was at previously, AIK. They did watch our game because I saw it, and they were saying like he was more so playing where he played for them, and you see how good he was. Like whereas since he's come in previously for us, he's been higher up. Like he's not been bad there, but it's just, do you know what I mean? Like he should be doing a bit both, because he does have good attacking elements. So yeah, hopefully he's sort of like in this sort of role going forward, especially for now. And then moving on, actually, we'll go through your rating. Sorry, guys, nearly forgot. 8 says Paul, and then Jackie's also gone with an 8 as well. And then, yeah, moving on to Savile. Again, obviously a better performance than last week. For me, he's been, our best player so far this season. But yeah, this game he was decent again. He was sort of back to his old self, I would say. Give him 7.5 as well.
Yeah, got an assist. Nearly got another assist. If Wells didn't get clipped, potentially that would have been a goal as well. Defensively sound, didn't have a lot to do. Was effective on set pieces. Had that little moment where he whipped it in, and then he was the one chasing back for his age and that, and he got close to him. Do you know what I mean? Like, that was difficult, and that we were a bit lucky there. But that's one of them situations where we're kind of out of position because we were like on the front foot. But yeah, 7.5.
Yeah, I mean, I was just talking to Lewis. Shout out to Lewis. Obviously, been on the channel a few times, and I was saying to him, because we obviously caught up, talk about football and that, and we were saying, I said Savile's definitely a championship player. He's one of our players that I can definitely sit there and say he's a championship player still. And yeah, he's going to do well for us. And I did say at the start of the year he could be quite an unsung hero. Just with the slide tackles he does. I mean, the things like that which go off the radar because obviously people look more at the goals, the people that are scoring and assisting and things like that. But I mean, like I said earlier, he can cross the ball. We saw it when we went to a pre-season game, Dad, obviously against Boreham Wood. He played some good deliveries into the box. So, yeah, he's definitely going to be a good player for us this year. And even the games he ain't been great in, it's either the team ain't been great, like Lincoln, as in like our team, or that Wimbledon game, but he was played out of position for me. He was like played as like a cam by the looks of it, which is just mental. But yeah, that's what I'll say on that. Savile 7.5 says Jackie. Paul's gone with an 8. Shout out to Stephen in the chat. Big up to yourself, mate. Hope you're well. And then moving on we'll go over to Morris. Obviously, I had a little bit of a talking point on him. I was really happy with him since he's come in. 4 games now for Luton, 3 obviously coming off the bench. The first start for him. And he's just looking lively. He's looking electric, like I said. He's just running at players. He's getting crosses into the box, winning corners, looking really, really good. And obviously, we was a little bit surprised he come off when he did, but obviously Bloomfield did say after managing him, which is, totally fair enough. And yeah, for me, I would start him tomorrow, but even though he's obviously managing his minutes, I feel he still has to start because he's just causing a threat. And I remember when we played Blackpool, when we beat them 3-0, I was at that game and our wingers, they were just causing havoc, and Jordan Clark that game. So for me, you've got to be playing him in this type of game. So yeah, for me in this game, again, I'm going to go with another 7.5.
I'll give him 7 just because of the time he was on the pitch, but he looked really lively, never afraid to take his man on, successful. We said this about Ali before, but Ali likes to cut inside a little bit, but he'll just go at you and he'll get the cross in, and good deliveries as well. We won the free kick to get the penalty. I'm sure he was involved in the cross with the handball as well. Just really, really dangerous. A lot of potential. And yeah, what a signing he's looking to be, So, but I'll give him a 7. I just want to see more of him, build up. And I'm glad that we're managing the minutes, because this is something we wasn't really potentially doing at other times last season. We bring players straight back and they get injured, and do you know what I mean? Whereas we're not doing that. And I feel it's working. It's competitive. Obviously, I know they're data driven as well, so that probably tell you why some people are being left out at times where you're not expecting it, like Nordas and things like that, because he's a striker, and then looking at shots on target, chances. Do you know what I mean? The hold up play is good for the stats, but do you know what I mean? It's a bit one of them, but yeah, I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And the thing is with him as well, I feel another reason I feel we have to stick with this formation is because, again, go back to what I said earlier, we've got so many attackers, especially, obviously out wide, and strikers anyway. Players like him, you just let him go forward. Let Makoso do the defensive work, or, obviously when, or maybe Kadawa. Do you know what I mean? You can change the right back around, but obviously right now we're saying Makoso, and then you got him doing the attacking stuff and things like that. And yeah, I just think it works. It does work with him at the moment. And yeah, I mean, like I say, every game, obviously, he did have his debut coming on against Barnet. And I know, again, the opposition ain't great, but even the stuff he was doing in that game, just running at him, obviously took that penalty well. He's another option for penalties, actually. Let's be honest. If we do change a penalty taker, or Wells isn't on the pitch, or whoever, do you know what I mean? He's another one you could be confident with, given his first penalty. So yeah, that's what I will say regarding that. But yeah, as for ratings for Morris, 8.5 says Paul. Jackie says 7.5, very impressive. Yep, totally agree. Morris quality, yeah. Taking off his precaution, 7.5. Yeah, I mean, this one, yeah, we'll go to Nelson, because there has been an interesting talking point. Shout out to the guys at OK Football. I did go on their calling show yesterday, and they asked me my thoughts on Nelson in this game. I don't think he was bad. Obviously, still, got to try and break through into the team regularly and things like that. So there'll be appearances where he's on the bench. But yeah, I don't know with him. I don't know. He was sort of, centrally. But I just feel he's better out wide. I mean, we've seen games where he's, drifted out wide. He can obviously deliver as well, like from corners and stuff. And again, in that Sheffield Wednesday game that we went to, he was taking a few set pieces for us, and they weren't too bad. So, yeah, I mean, for him, I'd like to see him out, wide, like on the left or something. Give Ali a rest. Obviously, we're getting to lineups for Blackpool, but yeah, I'd like to see that at some point, because I feel he could do well there. To be fair, it's just centrally, I'm not too sure. Against teams where we're expected to have more possession against, I think it could definitely work, because, like Burton, for example, because he'll be able to get hold of the ball more. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure of him centrally. But yeah, as for this game, I've seen, slightly worse from him. I'll be honest. I don't think it's dreadful. I'll just give him a 7.
Yeah, definitely a 7. He was involved in the penalty. He's still learning. When you watched him in the youth teams, he was playing as a striker, I believe.
Yeah.
He can play left midfield. He can play in different positions, and he's definitely got good technical ability. He's got high ceiling. You can see that he's a quality player. And we sort of, with the injuries, we kind of shoehorning him into the team a little bit. But I still think for his young age and that he done pretty well, and he's still learning. He's getting actually regular games. From our youth players, he's the one. We thought it'd be Johnson. obviously Johnson's injured, but even then, like, there's other players we've looked at. There's players we've signed with potential who haven't done nowhere near, or getting nowhere near the team like he is. So I think you've got to give him more credit. I'll give him a 7. I'll probably see that he will start, but again, he's adaptable. You're right. He can play in that alley position as well. Ali's more of a dribbler in that, but technically Nelson's more patient. He can switch the ball. He's quick.
Good strike on him as well.
Yeah. It's probably a better striker. Well, definitely a better striker of the ball than Ali is, I would say. So it's going to be interesting. But at the moment, he's going to be in the team, and I think he's doing all right considering. Remember when Johnson played? Was it when we played Burnley? Was it last season? We had a lot of youngsters in there. We
had Nelson Johnson in that game. Yeah.
I've seen players that Nathan Jones signed. Who was it? Someone from Tottenham and someone from somewhere else. They were
Elliot Thorpe.
Yeah, and someone else as well, and they were terrible. Let's be honest, like they ain't got where Nelson's getting to. Do you know what I mean? So I'll give him a 7, and I think it's only a matter of time before he scores a banger for us.
Yeah, I mean, like with all due respect to Elliot Thorpe, I think he's playing in like the conference now, or like the Vanarama National League South. Do you know what I mean? So it does say a lot. But I'm trying to think who that other player was because that's going to annoy me. I'm going to have to look. Louis Watson. That was it. Yeah, Louis Watson. Because I just looked when we lost to Grimsby because I know they both played in that. And I remember that time, Elliot Thorpe. So we played Grimsby on the 7th of February, 2023. And before that, Elliot Thorpe didn't play since my birthday. And he just went straight in. I don't know what Rob Edwards was thinking that game. But anyway, other ratings. Ratings for Nelson, 7.5, says Paul. Didn't get involved as much as I would like. Yeah, I'll say if he's out wide, I think it could work. Because we like to use out wide a lot as well. And that's the thing with us. We got them, wingers that can do that. And he's another player that can play there. 6.5. But we'll move on to Ali. It's a difficult one with Ali because going into the season, we were like, it'll probably be our best player. I actually said on this thing in a group chat of Luton fans, I reckon he'll be our top scorer. And that was before, obviously, we've got El Hamadi and Yates. And no, we did have Wells then. But I just thought, in this game, you look at Morris, for example, he's running at the players, he's winning corners. Ali, like we said, he sort of cuts back. And it is a little bit frustrating because we know he can definitely take on these players and basically do what Morris is doing on the other side, but we're not quite seeing it from him, I have to be honest. It wasn't dreadful, but I just know he can do much better. And I do get a little bit frustrated sometimes because I know there is a player there. We're not seeing what he done basically towards the back end of last year. I'll give him a 6.5.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, I don't know what, he gets on the ball a hell of a lot, but sometimes his end product is not good enough. And some of his passing was a bit awry in this game. Do you know what I mean? Like, so we seem to do better. But I think he's just a bit out of form. But if you get an alley in full, different story. Do you know what I mean? So I understand why we keep going with him. He is one of our better footballers that we've signed. But for this game, 6.5.
Yeah, and it seems like looking pre-season, he was like looking lively. I mean, that Tottenham game, he was immense in that game for me. He was just like causing, like they're Premier League players, right? And he was causing them like havoc. And for me, we haven't quite seen that same player, bar the Burton game. But again, I'm not really like great win for us, but they're rubbish. I have to be honest. Like with all due respect, I like Burton fans. You know what I mean? They're nice and that. Obviously, when I went to a neutral game, but in terms of this year, they're not great. I have to be honest. Stephen says Ali should be well adapted to his league in familiar position on Saturday and was trying too much in certain situations. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? 7. Jackie says Ali, I thought he was okay. 7 as well. Paul's obviously gone with the same as well in terms of the Steven. Yeah, moving on to the final player at that starting 11, which was obviously Wells. The penalty, like I say, it was a good save. It wasn't a terrible penalty. He was trying to get involved in the game.
We won the penalty.
Yeah, he won the penalty as well, of course. I don't think he was too bad. I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, I'll give him a 7. I thought he was quite lively. The thing you will get from players like Wells and Yates when he gets into form is their knowledge. Do you know what I mean? That like what you get with Saville, Clark, them sort of players, they'll know when to play a pass and who to, and do you know what I mean? And control it when you're in the penalty area and things like that. He was doing that. And he scored the previous penalty. It wasn't a terrible penalty, but he stayed on, and we carried on. 7.
Yeah. Jackie's gone with 7 as well. Paul's gone 6.5, slightly lower, which is fair enough. And then moving on to the substitutions. Kadoa come on. I thought he done well. The only thing I'll say with him, and I said it in the reaction, was yes, we felt it was a foul on him, but obviously he's handballed it after obstruction. He's always going to get carded. That was a bit frustrating. But other than that, running at players, I could see him and Morris chopping and changing a lot in terms of one or the other starting at the moment. And I like Kadoa. I think he's been pretty good since he's come in, especially when he's played defensively. And obviously, touch wood, it doesn't happen. But if Makoto gets injured or something, he is an option for right back for now. Obviously, he played there a few times for Wickham under Bloomfield as well. So I can definitely see that. Obviously, played a few times at right wing back for us anyway. For him, I thought he was decent, bar that. I'll give him a 6.5.
I'll give him 6.5. I'm not. Yellow card is what it is. I think it's interesting because obviously when Morris is playing, he's trying to defend as well, and he did put a good tackle in this game. But I think Kadua's better defensively probably. And they both do run at players, but Kadua's probably a bit more similar to Ali in that respect. But yeah, he done all right when he come on. I'll give him 6.5.
Yeah. I'd have to agree. I mean, I'll be honest. Obviously, I'm still a bit worried about Morris there. Obviously, a bit further back due to the what the Aberdeen fans told me. But I also, that Barnet game, when he came on at the start, there was a few moments. So yeah, he's much better attacking wise, and Kadoa's shown that. I mean, I always go back to it, but that Wigan game, that slide tackle he done, absolutely brilliant. Let's go through the comments. Stephen says Wells look good, still getting sharp, good positions. Penalty was a good save. Yeah, I totally agree, mate. It was a good save. Like I say, I've seen much worse penalties where they've been barely coming off the ground, to be quite honest with you. Kadoa, 6.5. Jackie's gone with the same as Paul as well. Kadoa can hold up ball well, good ability, 6.5. Yeah, and I spoke to West Ham fan, and before we got Kadoa, just to ask their thoughts on him. And obviously he don't play for the main team, but this West Ham fan watches the youth team, and he told me obviously that Arsenal game in that, I think it's the FA Cup Youth Final. He was absolutely brilliant in that game. So obviously scored a great goal that most of you would have seen when we signed him anyway. There's definitely a player there, and he can help defensively as well, which is good, given that he is actually a striker. Moving on to Gabode. Again, I thought he was decent. I thought he's looked decent when he's come on. Obviously, this game, Lincoln game, he could be another option to put on that left side, like I mentioned earlier, going into tomorrow. I mean, let me know in the chat. I did ask in the match reaction, do you change it up a lot? You make 1 or 2 changes? Do you make any changes? Let me know in the chat for tomorrow's game. Obviously, we'll get into our lineups. But yeah, Gabode, I thought he was decent in the game. I will give him a 6.5 as well, same as Kadoa for this game as well. Obviously, we'll get into Nakamba as well, which was an interesting sub. But like I said, I don't mind seeing him on the bench. I'd rather that than him just stealing a wage, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, Kabode, 6.5 from me. What's your rating, Dub?
Yeah, 6.5 could have been slightly higher because when he did come on, um, I think he was playing up front or left wing. It was. Do you know what I mean? Um, but he's done some really good forward runs. He looks hungry. He's strong. He's physical. Yeah, it's going to be interesting with him. But I want to see a bit more of him. But yeah, good performance. 6.5.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. 6.5 looks good. And then another 6.5 from Paul. Moving on to Nakamba. Yeah, it was interesting to see him back. I actually thought he'd done all right, to be fair. I mean, there was a passage of play. He was doing like 1-2s. He'd done all right. Like I say, there's a good player at this level if he can stay fit. That's the problem with him is he hasn't. Since we've got him permanently, he's not stayed fit. And like I said, I'd rather see him on the bench than, not being there because it's just annoying. Do you know what I mean? Like just seeing players do that. But obviously, I know we did sort of want to ship him off, so it's not really all down to him. But yeah, I thought he was all right for this game. And again, similar to Mengi, if he plays all right, obviously Nakamba is a bit more difficult because he's older and things like that, injuries and things. But if he, goes in January but plays well, from now on until then, I don't mind that. So yeah, Nakamba, 6.5.
Yeah, 100%. 15, 16, 17 minutes. Just kept it cool, kept it calm. He's got that Premier League experience, got the Championship experience. He's an intelligent footballer, he's strong. I'm not bothered about his age because, he still can do bits. And at this level, you know what I mean? He's probably one of the best defensive midfielders in the league, potentially. I know he hasn't played a lot, but, if he was playing regularly for another team, he'd be balling it, in my opinion. So, yeah, I'll give him 6.5. And like I say, his injuries are probably what stopped him getting a move. Same as Brown as well, probably. But you got to knuckle down. Same Mengi as well. But it happens. I've seen it time and time again over years and years. You have to knuckle down, and then if you're good enough and or whatever, you'll get that move. And they all are really Nakamba probably end up going abroad. Mengi definitely can. If we can keep him, that's good. But he can definitely play, in the Premier League, I'd say. Brown, Championship. I think he needs his season to kick on, and hopefully, because I quite like Brown, and I think he's been unlucky with injuries, and he's done bits for us in the Premier League as well. He's played out of ridiculous positions sometimes under Rob Edwards, things like that. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, 6.5. Bramall, Pump 6.5. Richard 6.
Yeah, I agree with them ratings as well. And yeah, no, I have to agree with the Nakamba thing as well. It's similar to Mengi, isn't it? Like if they're playing for the team regularly, it can easily be the best players in their positions. I feel in this league, definitely. I mean, again, like I say, if Burnley were obviously the team apparently looking at Mengi and trying to get him. I mean, that says a lot about him as a defender in terms of how good they were defensively last year. And, it's still been pretty decent defensively this year, given that they're in, obviously, the Premier League. Very unlucky in, like, their Liverpool game, for example. Do you know what I mean? So it says a lot about him as a player. It's just getting that attitude right. But if he plays like he did on Saturday, then, hopefully we've got a good player, however long that is, with him. Kabode, different style, young, raw, suits us as an impact player. 6, yeah, I'd agree with that. 6.5 for Nakamba. Marv Allshad, he can really tell the league up more to come. Yeah, hopefully. Same with Mengi. Hopefully they continue this, when they're coming on or starting, etc. But yeah, Bramall 6.5, Richards 6. But yeah, there you go, guys. They are obviously our player ratings, which is now gave Naismith his first 2 votes for the season. So yeah, in the lead for us, we've still got Savile with 5 votes as it stands. And yeah, I'll go through the points for this if you didn't quite see the Discord. So, Dad, you got a point again?
Yeah,
I
come
think
on.
got a point again. Obviously, it's been a bit of a while. So I'm on 5. I actually said, what did I say? A draw for this game. You're on 3. Jackie, you're on 7. Rich is on 4. Paul, you're on 7. Stephen, you're on 8. You actually got the game spot on. So fair play. You put yourself right up there. Tom, you're on 1. Phil, you're on 2. Andy's on 2. In the lead is Darth Vader still with 9. Yeah, I know. And he come in a bit later, by the way. Ben's on 6. Terry is on 4. Dave's on 4. Blitz is on 6. Chat GPT, hold that. Yeah, said we'd lose. Yeah, it's on 4. And then Jamie's on 6. So still very long time. I can see by the end of it, even though there's been, I think, 3 weeks where none of us have got anything, I can see it being 100 points for someone. Or maybe even 2 people, but we'll see. It's all good. It's all a bit of a laugh and things like that. And obviously, the winner will get a shirt, this season's shirt of their choice, with a name, obviously their name and number of their choice as well. So, yeah, it will be interesting to see. But yeah, moving ahead to the game tomorrow against Blackpool. Obviously, like I said earlier, I did do a preview with a Blackpool fan who has been on the channel before, Lee Charles. Do go over and watch that after this if you haven't already. Really good in-depth preview talking about, a bit about Yates, obviously played for them, and talk about obviously them going into the game. They've got a lot of injuries, how they've started the season, how we've been. Obviously, don't want to probably hear it, most of you, but obviously I spoke a bit about our last time we spoke. We were on a high, not quite on the same high now. But yeah, it was good. It was good. So do watch it. But yeah, going into this game, they've got a lot of injuries. They have a lot of injuries with key players. Lee was saying yesterday, Ennis, a player he does rate, is a striker, is out injured. Fletcher's not quite been at the level. Obviously, they've got Dale Taylor, who we were, not linked with, but a few fans when we were searching for a striker were saying maybe try and get him in. He's quite similar to Ennis, I've been told. So it's probably going to be them 2 up front together tomorrow, Fletcher and him. Honeyman, who's quite similar to me, for me, to Savile. I'd probably say Savile slightly better, but they're similar in the sense of they get in your faces. They don't really give you time and space. Obviously he's out, and yeah, they've got a lot of key players out. Like I say, Bowler, even though he didn't really do great for us, he's done well at Blackpool at his 2 spells. Lee was saying yesterday he's one of them players that just runs at teams. He causes a threat in that sense, and he gets you off your feet. So basically like how Morris is for us right now. So yeah, they're all out. I did see the highlights of their game against Bradford. Newville, obviously Luton, born and bred, did score the goal for Bradford. Good finish. And they weren't too bad in that game, given they were playing Bradford. I mean, Bradford obviously started the season very well, top of the league. But yeah, I mean, their chances when they fell to them, they just didn't really take them. And they weren't great efforts. They were just low across the ground, majority of them, to be quite honest with you. And they should have really capitalised on that because, I'll be honest, Bradford didn't play well. That's probably the worst they've played at home, and they still got to win. So it says a lot about their character as well. But yeah, they did get their last game at home was a win though, against Barnsley, who's did start off the season well, not been quite the same in the last couple of games. So they did win their last home game, but Lee was saying he doesn't have a lot of confidence going into that game. But what I will say about that is there's been times that we haven't had confidence going into games, and then we've actually managed to get the result. And it is a difficult ground to go to. And I think with it being a rescheduled game midweek, it's going to be hard, man. It is going to be hard. I mean, last time we went there, obviously we did nick it 1-0. We was there, Dad. Last time we actually saw Nathan Jones, on the touchline for us personally. And we had to defend really well in that second half because they hit the post. Pelly Ruddock done an amazing block. You know, can't even remember who we had in goal then, but they were doing saves all over the place. Do you know what I mean? It was absolutely mental. You know, we had a few chances to score more. Luke Berry scored that game. It was mental. So I'm expecting them to definitely have chances. But we just need to carry it on because since the first two games of the season, because I'm not counting the Barnet and then the Burton game. Other than that, we haven't won back to back this season. So we need to get that going, especially for Saturday's game for me. I mean, Stevenage, like, say what you want about them, but they're doing brilliant. We have to be honest. They're second. You know, I think of that game where obviously we lost in the League Cup. They were in League Two then. We were a championship team. You'd probably say we got a better team now, even though we were in a higher league. But they had a worse team. They, beat us. Like, do you know what I mean? That's not going to be easy. So for me, we have to be trying to get maximum points out of this game. So yeah, that's what I will say about it. But yeah, a bit more going into it in terms of obviously Blackpool. It's been a tough start to the season. Who sit in the relegation zone. They've only won 2 games so far this term, both coming at home against Huddersfield and Barnsley. So when you look at their home wins, they are good wins against good opposition. Like I said, I know Barnsley have dropped off a bit, but they started off well. Especially the time they played them as well. It was a good win. And they've obviously got Wimbledon on the weekend, who again another good defensive team. So they've got 2 tough home games coming up. But Bloomfield going into it says Saturday was just 1 game, but it felt massive for us because if it had gone the other way, it wouldn't have been pretty. Yeah, 100%, especially for himself. Let's be honest. We have to get ourselves back together, travel up to Blackpool as a group, and stand shoulder to shoulder again on Tuesday evening and put on another display. If we can do that, we believe we can pick up more points. Steve Bruce going into it, by the way, he's under a lot of pressure, and we do have a habit of sacking managers. And trust me, he's under a lot of pressure. I'm pleased we have a game on Tuesday so we can try get back on the board again. When you get off to a poor start like we have, confidence can only come back into the team when they put some sort of run together. This comment I thought was quite interesting. We need to go back to back with results and go a month without getting beat. It's amazing what can happen after that. So that's what we need to aim for. So that's what he said going into it. Regarding the kit, we will be wearing the third kit. So like I say, hopefully we can plant some more trees. Yeah, that'd be good. But yeah, I mean, after saying everything about the game, Dad, Blackpool's, I guess they're poor form, for being honest, and us getting a win. How are you feeling going into the game?
Well, I think if we'd have played them earlier when we were scheduled to play them, we might have slipped up there. But now I feel more confident. Their form, they're struggling to score. They are good at home, so it'd be tough. There'd be fight. We went there before, and it was quite tough. They've got a raucous atmosphere, similar to our own at times. But they're decimated by injuries. They're struggling. And I've said this before, and it hasn't worked out, but our quality should really shine through. And if we're going to build something, we need to start building it now. And this is the ideal game to do it. And if we finish that off with another win against Stevenage, it'll be right up there where we should be. So yeah, this is probably more important for me than Doncaster game in certain ways. But we've got a good record against them, and I do think we've got enough quality. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm a bit gutted it's rescheduled when it is because I was actually going to go.
What I will say is, why was Yates left out in the last game?
Concussion.
Okay, so he could be back for this game. I don't know if
we mentioned it yesterday.
Interestingly, yeah. If anyone's going to score against their former team,
it'll be him. And by the way, he'll get a good reception because
he would.
Yeah, Lee was saying yesterday he'll get a good reception.
I'd hold off from starting him because if they put it on us, do you know what I mean? It's one of them. But yeah, that could be very interesting, and this could kickstart his season. Comes on or he starts and he scores or whatever. But yeah, this is I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, like I was going to say, I'm gutted this reschedule because when the original kickoff time was actually going to go, I've obviously been twice before. Witness wins both times, actually clean sheets as well, 3-0 and a 1-0. So yeah, it'd been good. It'd been good to be there. Obviously, it's a game. I said it yesterday. It's a game you always look at to see when you play them if you're in the same league because obviously you've got Seaside and all the other attractions as well. But yeah, it's a bit of a shame, But everyone that does go, and I know Phil's going, do enjoy it. And hopefully we do get a win because I know a lot of people obviously leaving very early. So hopefully we do get a win. But I'm glad it's on Sky Sports Plus. It means I can actually watch it and things like that. So that'll be good. Stephen says he enjoyed that preview. Yeah, definitely, man. I always like getting Lee on the channel. Obviously, got him on when we played at Kenilworth Road, beat him 3-1. And yeah, he always goes in depth and things like that. So yeah, hopefully we'll have him on for the reverse game as well. People putting their predictions, we're getting to them. Glad it's on the telly, yep, 100%. Yeah, we do. We 100% do. But obviously we'll get into this game first. People saying I couldn't get tickets for Stevenage. Yeah, I know season ticket holders that couldn't get tickets for them. People are going, oh, try and get one in the home end. Nah, I couldn't do that. I could never do that, against my team. I could not do that. Especially them guys.
I get too angry, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Do you imagine like misplaced pass and do you know what I mean? I couldn't do it. I could not do it. But yeah, going into the game now, we'll do your lineup first, Dad, if you want today, because I was going to make one change, and I still think I'm going to make that change. So, yeah, we're going to. There you go. You explain yours, and I'll.
Mate, basically, guys, it's the exact same lineup that started against, the previous game. So yeah, take it. It is risky to do. Sometimes, you might want to make a couple of changes, but you ain't really got that. And in League One, even in Championship, sometimes you're used to 3-game weeks. So I feel like we can deal with it. And then just make the substitutions where necessary. We've got good quality on the bench. So I'll be obviously forward at the back. Exactly the same as it was in the previous game for me.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, there is that saying, isn't there? You don't really want to change a winning side. Like I say, there might be one or two changes just based on the fact, it is obviously a quick turnaround. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I mean, there hasn't really been, from what I've seen, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat or anything, but I haven't seen any team news. Usually there is on this preview on the website that I like to read out, but I couldn't see anything. So I don't know if Clark's back. He could be back. If he was, I would put him in because he is, a good player to put in this type of game. I do feel. I think of that 3-0 game. He was very good in that game, very influential in that game. And yeah, I mean, the big talking point for me is one or two things. Do we go with this basically one up front again? Or do we go with two? And also, do we change that left-hand side? Do we take Ali out and put, I don't know, you've got options. You got Gaboda, you got Nelson. You could even put Bramwell there. We've seen again, I know the opposition wasn't the best, but we see against Barnet, he was making them forward runs. So he does have the capabilities of doing it. But in terms of my lineup for this game, I'm going to make two technically it's two changes for this game. So let me just get it up for you guys while I sort it. But yeah, like I say, do let me know your thoughts on the lineup, what you'd go for in this game against Blackpool. But yeah, let me just right. I'm going to get it up now. See, I'm not using StreamYard anymore, guys, so getting used to sorting all this out in terms of this. So let me just Get it up. 1 second. No, it's not even the one I want. Press the wrong one. Second, people. Right. So, right. Hopefully, you guys will be able to see this. I'm just going to see if I can share it. Should be able to. Yeah, 1 second. Yeah. Hopefully, you guys can see that. That would be my lineup for this game. Yep, you can. That's good. So I would actually. So it could be a 4-2-3-1, but I'd like to see two strikers up front for this game. So I'd go Keeley in goal, obviously. I'll go Naismith left back again. I'll go Anderson, Mengi, Makoso. It's the same back four. And then I would actually go with Nelson on the left for this game, and then unchanged other midfielders. Stick Morris on the right. Same thing again. If he comes off in the game, I have no problem with that. Round about the same time. And then I'll go Wells and Nordos. I think we're missing Nordos in certain games. Like I say, he's not going to get you loads of goals this year. I don't believe that, but his link-up play could be effective, especially in this type of game. So yeah, that's my lineup I'd go with personally. I think Ali could do with coming off the bench personally. Because I just, like I say, I just look at that right hand side and I just think Morris has been effective and Ali's not quite been the same since last season, if I'm going to be honest. So yeah, that's what I'd go with personally. But yeah, we'll go through comments. Phil says, hoping no changes. We need to start gelling. Won't happen. Yeah. I agree. I think if there's one or two changes, I don't think that's the end of the world. But yeah, I totally agree. Like, we shouldn't. But if we like change formation, then that would be ridiculous for me. Like to a three at the back again, that would be ridiculous. Jackie agrees with me. I'd like two up front. Yeah, I think we got to do it, especially the amount of strikers we have. And I'm saying this without Elijah back, El Hamadi back, Brown back. Do you know what I mean? Like, you got to do it. And by the way, I see videos of Elijah, just like recovery and stuff. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing him back. Like I say, I do have my slight doubts just because, not of him as a player, just because them type of injuries. But yeah, hopefully he comes in and does well. Obviously, it's going to be probably like January time, but still. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I can understand it. There's certain games I feel are not better, not beneficial to Nelson. But I'd start in this game personally. But yeah, I mean, it's a split one. It's a split one with Nordos. Like I say, he's not going to get loads of goals, but I just think his link-up play is what we're missing in games, personally. And the thing with Yates as well, whether he's back or not, we need to, as much as, yes, he was poor in the Lincoln game, but who wasn't? We're not playing to his strengths for me. I mean, Lee obviously had, Yates at Blackpool for ages, and he was obviously saying he's much better with the ball at his feet. And we know this anyway. We're trying to cross the ball into him a lot, and it's not his game. Do you know what I mean? He's better with the ball at his feet. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he's back. Clark's back. Obviously, if I knew they were, I would definitely put Clark in. Yates, I'd probably have him on the bench, like we said earlier. But yeah, we'll see, man. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens for this game. I mean, Bramwell might even get a go. It's going to be interesting. But yeah, in terms of a score prediction, Dad, like I say, they've got loads of injuries. Can we capitalise on that and get back-to-back wins?
Yeah, I think we can. They've got too many players out. They'll give it a fight, but ultimately our quality will shine through, I believe. We're going to go there to battle. It'll be a similar game, probably to Doncaster. So I'm going to go 1-0 Luton win. Naki Wells.
Nice. As for me, I said it yesterday, but if you guys did miss it, I've gone 1-0 to Luton. Same score it was last time when we went to there. I think it's going to be another similar game. I think they're going to have chances, but I just think we're going to take our chance and go on and win the game. And yeah, as for a goal scorer for this game, do you know what? I'm actually going to go Shayden Morris. I'm going Shayden Morris to get his first goal in the league for us. I was going to say Kadoa, but then I'm not sure how long he'll come on for. Might not even start. So I don't know. Yeah, I'll go with Shayden Morris to get our goal. But other score predictions for this game. Paul obviously did say it yesterday as well. 2-0 to us. Feels the same as me. 1-0 away win. Other comments. Jackie's gone very emphatic. The first time I went to Blackpool, that was the score 3-0. Saville to score, Clark and Morris. Yeah, see, again, if I knew Clark was definitely in, I would have said him. Because I feel this type of game is very beneficial for him. So, yeah, there you go. Wells and Ali with your goal scorers there. Yeah, no, that's all right, mate. That's all right. Sometimes it's like that. I mean, Rich waited until the lineups were actually announced the other day, and he said the same as me. We all thought it was going to be a draw. Well, me and him did anyway. So yeah, no, I totally understand, mate. But yeah, there you go for that. What's Chat GPT said, Dad?
He's saying 2-1 Luton.
Okay. See, now you back us. Now you back us when we get a win. What did you say again? Sorry, Dad. 1-0. What's that?
1-0, yeah.
Yeah, 1-0. See, 1-0 is popular. It's popular. And a lot of clean sheets as well, which I like to see as well. Everyone's actually said a clean sheet, bar Chat GPT, actually, so far. So we'll see how that continues. But yeah, as for the game tomorrow, we'll be doing a match reaction. I'll be honest, I'm not sure where I'm actually watching it yet. I was going to make a return to the local pub from me, but they got electricity issues apparently. So we'll see if that improves tomorrow. But either way, there'll be a reaction anyway. And you never know. If it is all right, might have might have Gary back on the channel again. Be good to have his thoughts on as well. And then obviously we've got the Hat Show on Friday, where we'll be obviously talking about the Stevenage game. Boy, oh boy. And then obviously we will react to this game. Hopefully we're talking about another win going into that game. So I feel we do need that. I really do feel we'll need that going into that game. But we'll talk all about that on Friday. But yeah, any final things, Dad, about anything you'd like to say?
No, come on, we need to get this train running, isn't it? This is what it's about. The fans were better. Taking a few tomorrow. Stevenage, that'll be rowdy as well. And we need to be putting it on them and dealing with that. I want to see 3 wins out of 3. That's what I want to see. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if that was the case, obviously we'll take it game by game. But if that was the case, then boy, we'll take that, especially Bloomfield, he'll take that, given the pressure that was on him going into that Doncaster game in particular. But yeah, we do need to keep it going because, if we did, say, for example, we did lose the next 2, then I think there's a lot of pressure on him, especially the next type of game, is, whether you like it or not, is obviously the local derby, they say. So we need to be on it, and hopefully we can get a result tomorrow and build on that. Jackie says, are we looking at Jamal Lewis again? Not that I can see. I haven't seen anything.
There's been more rumours, yeah.
Oh, as there, okay. I mean, I still feel we need a left back. If we can go out there, I like Bramwell, but I just think we need another option. But if we can go out there and get someone, like him, I would take it. The only problem I have with him is he hasn't obviously played football for ages, so you have to get into the swing of things and it'll take a while. But, he'll sort of have a point to prove. Let's be real. He was playing in the Premier League at, Newcastle.
He was being looked at.
Yeah. Obviously, Luton born and bred as well, so you have that extra element to do well. So I wouldn't mind him personally. But yeah, like I say, the only worry of him is obviously getting into the swing of things and, it'll take a while. But I guess for now, Naismith started playing left back. Obviously, Bramwell can play there. So I guess there is the options. And his injury record, yeah. But yeah, I know that's not the best. But we'll see. I mean, one thing you do have to give Bloomfield credit for, whether you think he's the right man or not, is we've actually got less injuries. And it goes back to what you said earlier, Dad. Especially compared to last year. Rob Edwards, brought players in, they're just getting injured straight away. So there is that as well. But yeah, like I say, big up to everyone that's tuned in. Don't forget to smash a like, subscribe. Obviously, do smash a like if you watch back on playback. Do subscribe to the channel. As you can see pinned as well, Friday it recommended membership YouTube did to me. So if you can become a member, that would be much appreciated. And we are in the works of doing behind the scenes stuff that only the members can see. So do obviously check that out and do join it if you can. Few people have already. And yeah, like I say, match reaction from me tomorrow for sure. Hat show for sure on Friday. And then, yeah, we'll have a match reaction to the Stevenage game. And hopefully, I'm talking positively in that. Hopefully, especially against them guys. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So yeah, big up to everyone. Smash a like, subscribe, all that. And yeah, until tomorrow for myself, Friday for my dad. We'll see you guys in a bit. So take care and peace.
Peace.